Hello everybody, welcome back to the Amazon European Masters. Viper and Jamala with you once again off the back of Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition, making it look easy and grabbing themselves yet another victory. We're joined by Dream Ace coming from the Unicorns of Love down in the bot lane. Jamala's laughing at me because he's just a big bully. Massive congratulations on the victory. 10-0 so far here at the Amazon European Masters. What makes Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition look so good?
I mean, we're actually a bit unhappy about this game. We didn't play so well in the early game, but I mean, at least we secured every objective, right? That's pretty good. But I think we could have played it better. So there's still improvement, but we're happy that we're 2-0, right? 10-0 actually in a row. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely good to say, you know, there's still room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. Like you say, I think whilst you might not have been happy, I think also FLICKR definitely played a good game in terms of reading what you guys are trying to do on the map as well. But I want to ask you sort of a broader question about the group. How do you actually feel about Group D and your standing inside of it? Obviously, you're 2-0 right now. LDLC still need to play their second game alongside Bison's. But what are your sort of thoughts and feelings on this group? Because I feel like more than previous tournaments, we have a slightly more balanced group seeding across the board.
I think Group D is, yeah, it's pretty average. I think LDLC is obviously a really strong team, right? The one of LFL. Like, wouldn't surprise me if they're like a really good opponent to us, right? They're so strong. So looking forward to that match tomorrow. And yeah, I think Bison's is also pretty good the way they play the game. Like they have a certain style, right? We had a good answer yesterday, like on what they want to do. So yeah, pretty happy that we had a good draft against them and then we got the win, right? So I think LDLC and us hopefully make it out of groups. That's what we're looking forward to.
Interesting. It's nice to see that you're backing yourselves to be getting out. I guess the final question is a really, really short one. We've seen so much from your team already, obviously coming through play-ins, getting victory after victory, and now here in the group stages. Do you still, as a team, have a couple more tricks up your sleeves?
Yes, of course. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't need to pick or show yet because for some reason we're always getting away with certain champions that we're really good at, right? For example, Ruby's getting out a lot of times and Evo's nice, so good. Like, we played so much Nautilus, like, yeah. I mean, we could have picked it again this game, but we decided not to because they had Silas, right? But yeah, I'm happy I didn't have to play Nautilus another game, but obviously we can play other champions too. So yeah, maybe we can show something else tomorrow or next week.
Well, massive congratulations on the victory here today. Yet another one for Unicorns Love Sexy Edition, and good luck in your matches coming up.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Will do. Thanks very much. You too. Jamada, we're going to move and just remind ourselves a little bit about what we're going to be, what we just watched, in fact. Sorry about that. We're going to be having a look back at a couple of the key fights. And these were the situations where Unicorns of Love thrived the most up against their opponents and really just dominated the Rift.
Yeah, and you know, this was maybe the fight where I think if it goes Athleta's way, right, they're able to pick up Lurox and stop him from getting the resets, then maybe the game goes in a different course, right? They're able to pick up the third dragon, stop the snowball of the soul. But unfortunately, again, like we spoke about, right, it's just the threat of the resets. Ruby and Reptile died fairly early in this team fight, but the issue is you still have one reset champion left. And with this team fight win, they were able to pick up the dragon, which then of course led to them being at soul point. And from this point on, it just felt like FLICKR were not necessarily out of gas, but maybe only had 1-2 shots at best. And this was that shot at potentially coming back into the game. And unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to do it. You can see on the top end of the screen, ends just too far away from the rest of FLICKR here, not with the remainder of the diving pie. And like kind of highlighted, once we get to this point here, where they look for the turnaround out of the flag and drag from Fog of War onto Ruby, imagine if the Xayah is behind Cospect and Sonics here and is able to put over 2 feathers just in order to pick up Ruby. The fight looks entirely different, but unfortunately for them, Unicorns just played a very, very strong team fighting game after that 15-20 minute mark, and that is what we've come to expect from them. And it's in a way kind of reflected in this gold chart as well. You can see, you know, FLICKR weren't really able to push any major advantages anywhere. Unicorns just said, okay, we just need a little bit of time to scale. They kept them at arm's length, and then once they were ready to take these team fights, take them they did, and they took them very damn confidently.
And I mean, we talked about how they had these really strong carries. You've got Ruby there in the mid lane, and of course, Reptile down bot on the Jinx once again. But hey, you look at that gold, you look at Ivo on the Gnar. I really like those two team fights. We get them back and back. because they managed to get themselves the one fight where the Gnar was really dominant, managed to get the massive ultimate through and stunned everyone. And then the other one where Gnar just didn't ult anyone. But let's quickly move towards our second game of the evening. Team Phantasma up against GamerLegion. And let's remind ourselves very quickly who is on Team Phantasma. Bako, Nikolex, Peppe, Vaynedeta, and Sanity. First match here at the Amazon European Masters this year. Jamala, strong-looking lineup coming out of the GLL.
Yeah, no, definitely so. A lot of experience for these players as well. But like you say, very strong for a GLL lineup. I think maybe we'll see. We'll see how Group B lines up, because I think it's obviously a very tough group for them. But GamerLegion here with Sacre, Danka, ESCIK, Jinjo, and Visdom. GamerLegion as an organization, of course, picked up an Amazon European Masters title a very long time ago, looking to reclaim some of that glory yet again in a very tough group.
Absolutely. This is, a lot of people have been saying this is the group of death, but we're going to be jumping immediately into Champ Select to see exactly what these two teams have for us. Of course, Team Phantasma on the blue side coming in from Greece, GamerLegion coming in from the Prime League over in Germany. We've got Karma taken off the table immediately and the Camille instant response.
Yeah, Camille instant response away from Bako. Bako, a player traditionally who has kind of lent on carry champions, but this split seen a little more of weak side duty as Vaynedeta's come in and kind of taken over the role of receiving many of the resources, as well as Peppe as well. But we'll see what kind of champion we get out of Bako. It was always very exciting to see him on a carry champion where he is given the time and the resources to actually carry, as Volibear moved again on the red side. And like you said last game, typically we see Lee Sin removed in the first rotation. He is this time, and Visdom will not have his hands on Leona. A lot of power picks up and available still. I think GL may be thinking about Zeri ban, and that does leave up, of course, all of the ADs, like that Aphelios, like the Jinx, which you've seen a little bit of sort of a backseat in many cases for this lethality Xayah.
Yeah, people are loving the Xayah right now, and this gives GamerLegion the opportunity to go for something like the Jinx if they wanted to. The Miss Fortune has been seeing a little bit more play as well. Keeping eyes towards the jungle, stuff like the Viego is available if they wanted to go in that direction, but the Jarvan equally very, very strong, aggressive early pick.
Yeah, very, very aggressive, like you say, and we've seen so much success from the pick, and I think something like the Trundle to try and keep it down in the early game would definitely make a lot of sense. We've just seen, of course, the Viego run into it as well, but it seems like Nikolex will lean on that Trundle. Of course, the pillar can also interrupt the bullet time, and it's near enough the same range, so you don't even really have to get yourself into much threat. And there is the very coveted Ahri pick, stuff that we're getting very used to seeing, and ESCIK, something like the LeBlanc would be very exciting to see, and we will get that skill matchup, which continues to be ever prevalent as the Ahri has moved into the meta.
I really like these two champions just going up against each other, because it's not a case of, I'm just going to sit back and stun you or be boring and just farm away. It's, I'm going to kill you before you kill me, which is what League of Legends is all about when you come down to it. Moving into the second rotation of bans, we've got marksmen on both sides, junglers on both sides, mids on both sides, so it's top and support, and we might be seeing a couple more thrown at the likely suspects, the likes of Ornn, Nautilus, Fresh even.
Yeah, something like Thresh could also be a pretty decent ban for GL, unless they want to take it themselves on R4. But removing away the Ornn, I wonder if they're also going to take away the Malphite at the same time. Just another engage option from the top side. Something like that could definitely be a bit of a nuisance, at least for the MF, but I think they can definitely look towards other bans. Like you say, a support ban wouldn't be too bad here. Gangplank taken away from Sacre and GL. They will just lean on another engage option. It will be the Rakan. Of course, the Xayah Rakan. Right now, very strong, but in general, Team Phantasma, they need a little bit of hard engage. And of course, that is what the GamerLegion bans are targeting. And I expect another top lane ban more times than not to come out here, just because there are so many options available at the support role for Visdom.
Yes, that's going to be the removal. It is kind of a support ban, but more likely to be going up towards that top side, and don't want to be seeing that one sending tags back into the enemy team. Looking at what Sacre could be looking towards, stuff like the Scion has been seeing a resurgence in recency, and with the set ban away, maybe Phantasma could look in that direction, but we'll have to see where GamerLegion want to take their counter pick, whether it would just be a case of grabbing a strong support and seeing what they want to do in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen this sort of shift on the red side to quite a few support counter picks in recency, especially with strong champions like, you know, Renata being in the game now and providing so much in comps that dive forward. There's a lot of value in the support counter pick these days on red side, as Team Phantasma, they now know what Sacre is playing, so why would they give Bako? Because do have, of course, the Camille off the table. You could just go for something like the Jayce. You could go for, you know, like you kind of pointed out, something like the Gnar could also, not the Gnar, the Sion rather, can just kind of act as a bit of a nullifying agent in a front line. But I think right now they already have enough front line. They need a little more damage, in my opinion. But maybe they do just lean on this Malphite, which wasn't removed away in favor of the Rakan. And the fact that they are also now looking at Gnar lane would make it a pretty decent pick in terms of the lane matchup itself. And it would also add on to any of the additional lockdown in terms of making sure that they pick up Jinjo, as they will make that last second swap over to the Jayce. I think those are the two options almost always there. You need a little bit more damage looking at this composition, in my opinion. And now, as we kind of spoke about, things like Renata on R5, very, very powerful. There's a lot of diving forward between the Nautilus and this Trundle, of course. Also the Ahri in a way, but Ahri can almost always get away from the armor. But I think when you look at sort of, when we saw Renata come into the game, we effectively said, not so good into these engaged supports. We'll see if he actually gets locked in, so I can continue the point. There you go, gets locked in. So into these engaged supports in lane kind of sucks, right? You get locked down, it's very easy for you to die. You're not particularly tanky, you're very squishy, even if you go down the path of, like, you know, lock it down. Solari is still working with like 1.3k HP. But now, if you can get out of laning phase in a good sort of state, all of a sudden a Nautilus just starts walking around bonking everybody on the head to ruin them for you. It's a pretty decent matchup in the team fights. It's just the lane you have to be worried about. I think sort of taking a bigger and wider look at the team composition. I think Team Phantasma in a position where I think playing towards the top side definitely wouldn't be a bad idea. They can also play towards the bottom side as well, simply because they've got all of the setup from Sanity on this Nautilus. But I think you've got the Jayce. You want to try and set him up for success. Peppe should be okay in this lane matchup, unless Doug has something to say about it in the very early stages. Maybe we see a bit of a repeat of that level 2 gank, what we saw coming out from My Dragon in game number 1.
And I was talking to M-Test, who's a player who's actually played at the Amazon European Masters a few years ago, about this matchup, about Nautilus into Renata. And he was telling me, hey, look, if I'm queuing in and I've got a Nautilus on my team, or I'm playing Nautilus and I see Renata, it's a go next angle. The matchup in the middle stages is not playable for the Nautilus, because yeah, you can maybe do some bullying in the earlier parts of the game, but suddenly your support is CCing your entire team, and it's just awful for everyone involved. So we'll have to see if that's going to be what Visdom can do to the Phantasma lineup, or if it's going to be a bad time for GamerLegion as we move on to the Rift. Second game of the day here at the Amazon European Masters. We've got Team Phantasma coming from Greece, the GLL, up against GamerLegion coming out of the Prime League. Both teams making their debuts here in 2022. We'll have to see who walks away with the victory.
Yeah, and I think getting the momentum going in what has sort of pseudo been dubbed the Group of Death is definitely a very big advantage. And I think especially, of course, for Team Phantasma, definitely the considered underdog of the group. If you're able to pick up a win in your first match, especially against GamerLegion, I think, depending on who you speak to, some people are saying GamerLegion X7, some people are saying GamerLegion Carmine Corp, top 2, in any order, of course. Maybe even you say X7 Carmine as well. It's hard to say. So as Team Phantasma, you're almost always looking to pick up wins where you can get them, as I feel like they definitely have decent early tools to do that, if you ask me. Set up in the mid lane, set up in the bottom side, and they should almost always have wave control in the top side in this Jayce matchup, as ESCIK tries to get a little bit of poke onto Peppe, but not able to do it this time around. I think lane setup this time, as we've kind of explained about Team Phantasma, definitely there for GL. I think it's more about the mid lane 2v2, but seems like Bako and Nikolex are going to just start up on this red buff. There's Dankers here and take this quite easily. I'm not even sure if GamerLegion know that this is going on.
There haven't been pings going down towards it, and that's just to be an easy take there for Nikolex, who's immediately going to leave and move down potentially towards his own blue buff, just to make sure that nothing is amiss down there. But for Danker, we've got a couple of pings coming down now, but hey, Trundle's actually going to move immediately down towards his own bot lane jungle. Jarvan starting to look like buff to buff to buff. You know how I like that one.
It's the Diamond Prox Classic as okay.
In a lot of trouble as Gashing burns pretty low with the Ignite. We'll be able to survive, but these are the aggressive bot lanes that we were kind of missing from game number 1.
Yeah, definitely so. This time around, early Ignite comes out, early heal forced by Vaynedeta. As Bako gets the better end of this trade. Almost brings Sacre down below 100 HP. Will put up, has the Doran shield, of course, as well. So we'll sustain through some of this poke with that fleet footwork on top of all of those sustain options. But Danka just going 3 camps into the bottom side, but the issue is the wave isn't actually crashed here, so he's going to have to wait a solid couple of seconds, and you expect Sanity could actually end up just face checking.
Ooh, has to flash away from the knockup, rooted and pulled back. A lot of damage coming down onto the Nautilus, who, remember, isn't that tanky early, but wants to go for the re-engage. A lot of damage down onto Visdom now, as he's able to stride off towards Danka in the jungle. But here comes Peppe and Nikolex. It'll be a 4v3. The charm is sidestepped by the Jarvan, who will flag drag over the wall, but Visdom goes low, gets the Guardian prop. A little bit of a route to push Sanity away as Jinjo hops forward. Can't manage to find a kill, but will just ward them away as Danka moving forward, trying to get on top of that. Skull won't be able to do so. It is now fighting a Trundle. Gets the knock-up, though, as support coming in from GamerLegion. Danka goes low, though. Will be hit down for first blood as Nikolex diving towards Sanity, who looks for the engagement. Really nice play. It doesn't matter, though. Vaynedeta picks up a second, but now the fight could turn. ESCIK is here. Peppe as well as he dives over the Ahri. Charm back into the fray, though. Vaynedeta too low to continue as Jinjo is putting bullets through, trying to grab one more. The flash from Ahri will be enough. All action in the bot side, 2-2 the score.
And it all starts because Danko wants to steal away the Skull Crab, flashes into the face of Nikolex, doesn't get the smite down, and just kind of gets beat on by the club of Trundle. As you can see, flash comes in, not able to get in range for the smite, level up comes in from Nikolex, and all of a sudden, just realizes he kind of just has to commit, hopes for Visdom to try and get a little bit of assistance over the wall, isn't able to do it. Flash away from Nikolex gets him almost to safety as Hook here, interrupted by Visdom, good work, but still goes down to Vaynedeta's feathers. Eventually the Trundle does fall to the follow-up, but you can see it just ends up being a 2v2 where unfortunately Team Phantasma have to just run with their tails tucked between their legs.
And this is the action we wanted to see here at the Amazon European Masters. All the pace, all the kills is what we saw yesterday, and it's what we lacked a little bit in game number 1, but you know, when teams want to be disciplined and controlled, that's always fun. We like to see teams that are playing a game of chess, but sometimes you just want to play Jenga. And with a 2-2 scoreline at 4 or 5 minutes in, it looks like Phantasma and GamerLegion are doing just that. But let's just zoom out a little bit. What are we really expecting to see from these two teams in the next 2-3 minutes with the likes of First Dragon and Rift Herald spawning up?
Yeah, I think what we're probably gonna see is more focus from GL towards this bottom side. They don't really have much of a reason to play towards the Jayce Gnar lane, I think. I'm just gonna see Danka try and make a bit of a repair, but I think the issue is now that Danka's a little bit behind on Nicola. Trundle's almost always gonna out skirmish you in the very early stages here. It could be very hard for him to actually make anything happen, as I've just realized. Danka's gone for the Spellbook Jarvan. It's definitely a very interesting take on the inspiration tree. It's definitely something I've seen conversation happen about, because obviously Jarvan kind of does the same thing regardless of what rune is in your pocket, whether it's Conqueror, whether it's, you know, the first track that we've seen more recently kind of popularized by Malrong in the LEC. Danka could have just sentenced himself to death almost, but has backup from Visdom and Jinjo. But Spellbook, something that can kind of be utilized. You know, you don't have flash, okay, now all of a sudden I've got Ignite. And I have all of these different summoner spell options, which kind of give me a little more versatility. Of course, the first strike does give you a little bit of bonus damage, but more importantly, the gold as a low economy jungler like Jarvan, being able to generate a little bit of extra gold during your engages is something that definitely can't be undervalued. And even heard talk of glacial augment simply because, of course, you can proc it with the lockup. Definitely a cool take. As you can see, Danka now has the heal. So if somebody tries to skirmish him, all of a sudden, he's got around an extra 200 HP to actually work with. So you can see some of the versatility of the rune. We'll see how much UC actually gets out of it in the later stages, as focus on the bottom lane, still there for GL. They're able to pick up this dragon. Team Phantasma just didn't quite have the lane set up in order to contest.
Team Phantasma were just hanging around, hoping, maybe still hoping to try and make a play happen in the bot side, but moving up towards top where Bako just clearing out under his tower. Jayce and Gnar, of course. A lot of damage coming out of that one. But no junglers have really been able to get too involved. Is that somewhere we can maybe see Danka and Nikolex try to impact towards stuff like the Rift Herald spawning in a minute's time?
Yeah, they definitely can. I feel like it should favor Team Phantasma, just because they should probably have first move from Bako on the Jayce, as Nikolex get into Danka's face here. Remember, the heal still in back pocket.
A lot of damage coming on through. There's the heal, and Nikolex a little bit surprised. He's going to be rooted up, takes a bit of damage. ESCIK trying to get the damage down, but the charm from the Ahri. Will the LeBlanc be able to get the kill? No, Nikolex is going to be able to dive away. as another passive popped from the mid laner, and it will, as you said, be Bako the first one to move, as he's going to help steal away this red buff.
Yeah, and we'll steal away. And now I expect to turn around towards that Herald. Sanity and Vaynedeta getting poked out a little bit here. Actually, the CS difference is so large. My goodness, I didn't realize how hard Jinjo and Visdom were winning out as a Nikolex. For now, just gonna return to the Grump. I think that should just about give him level 6. And with that level 6, that should confirm the ability to take down the Herald uncontested. So I don't mind this. Gives Bako as well and Peppe a little bit of extra time to manage their waves into a position where Nikolex could start this Herald up if so needs be. But Sacre actually has Mega Gnar, so now a brief window of time where slowing on the Herald could be risky. But once that time's out, I think they'll be a little more comfortable to get this one started. However, Ahri's actually gone for a reset, so the Herald being started up a little bit out of sync with the mid lane, but it seems like GL feel like they are in no position to contest regardless of whether or not they could have numbers advantage here.
Yeah, and Bako moving over that ward and just hanging around in the bush is going to give information, but also security. Nikolex should be able to take this one without too much issue. Danko not even on the same side of the map at the moment. Really doesn't feel obliged to contest this one at this stage. So 9 minutes in, we're going to see Rift Herald going into the back pocket of Trundle. Where would you like to just drop the classic, go bot lane, give it to your hyper carry?
Yeah, I think you could definitely give it to Vayne. I think there's a pretty strong argument for both Bako and Vaynedeta here. I think the fact that Vaynedeta is so far behind in terms of the CS department is definitely sort of evened out a little bit, maybe by the kill, but the fact that Jinjo also has a kill, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself right now. For Liam, Manamune against the combined cost of what that Dirk tier boots and longsword is. You can see how big the lead is for GamerLegion down there, but I think probably just Bako at the moment is where you end up giving it to, unless maybe you want to use it for mid lane priority to try and pick up this second dragon. I think there's definitely plenty of options. If you want the gold to go to your carry, you can do that. If you want to use it to try and ensure that GamerLegion don't pick up a second dragon, I think that's also a very valid choice.
So I'm going to be able to get a nice stun and a lot of damage actually down onto Bako, but not going to be able to follow through with the kill. Doesn't have the burst quite yet, and with the Gnar, you're not really looking towards that damage necessarily, but Danko now moving in over vision. Nikolex is there, so it would be a 3v3 if they look for a dive, and they've just wandered over all the vision in the world. So GamerLegion might just decide to make a play mid happen instead as Jinjo moves back to clear away, but Visdom is spotted at every turn, and now Miss Fortune might be in trouble at every turn. Going to be hit with the ultimate, flashes over the wall, still lands the damage, but won't be caught up by the CC too much. Visdom needs to be careful though, goes low, throws the ultimate down. The Nautilus is looking for a target, but can't find one as Xayah goes up in the air. The Cataclysm comes off for his Sacre goes golden. They've got a bit decent amount of damage, but no one is being hit by it as members of Team Phantasma are looking to slide away. Sanity is in trouble, will go down for the only kill of the fight. A lot of resources burned, but it's just going to be the Nautilus as the only victim.
Yeah, Danko, great Cataclysm there to ensure that Team Phantasma are pretty much just forced to use all the defensive tools away, flashes. It just means that they're never really going to have an opportunity to turn that one around, and Peppe as well wasn't able to get down there in order to back up the rest of his team. Decent initial engage, but unfortunately, Jinjo in a position where he flashes over the wall, and then all of a sudden the flank comes in from behind them, probably not where they expected it to come from, Team Phantasma.
And we're going to have another look at this one, just see exactly what happened, because it looked like an alright pick onto Jinjo initially, but then they were just caught out in too many angles.
Yeah, too many angles here, yeah. I think the Renata as well definitely helps, but this Cataclysm here just forces 2 flashes, 3 flashes out away from the bullet time, and ESCIK is here first as well. I think numbers advantage, just positional advantage as well, just means that it's always a fight that GamerLegion are going to comfortably win.
Sacre's in a bit of trouble though. He's going to have to hop, skip, and jump away. Also burning the flash to escape Sanity and Nikolex, as Vaynedeta has now also joined them on the top side, so looking to get a lane swap, but that's quite an interesting decision because Dragon is up and GamerLegion should be able to have free reign of it.
They will, but how many plates will this play get for Team Phantasma? I mean, they are down 1,000 gold right now. They've got 2 plates before the Herald charges. There's an extra 2, and they should just get this whole tower. So, whole tower for a Dragon, not too bad. Bako forced to flash away. And the issue is it's already being cross-mapped. You can see Jinjo getting all of these solo plates. At the very least picked up one. I'm not sure if the second one was also picked up at the time. We'll share it with Visdom. And this Herald will not get a second charge, but they did pick up another Dragon in the gold lead. Clawed back from that 1,000 deficit, so not a bad play. And of course getting Vaynedeta back into the game as well. Definitely feels pretty good. Still 500 gold behind though, that's the issue. That's going to feel a little bit bad in the pockets of the GLL AD carry Nikola, though. Nikolex, rather. I beg your pardon. 1,500 gold up on his counterpart in Tanker, who currently has the exhaust pocketed with this spellbook, so that...
What's damage into Sanity, but he's going to be able to dive away with the anchor as Visdom throws the ultimate through and just going to smack a Krug in his rage.
Really angry at that rock.
Yeah, the Krug's like, excuse me, sir, and then dives away. But the Ahri's now in a bit of trouble, has to dash away using the ultimate as members of GamerLegion collapse in. Sacre has to use the ultimate, you know, to try and disengage this. But Nikolex and Bako in full pursuit won't charge onto the second tower, though, as they back away. But a lot of bark and no bite in the last couple of engagements as no one goes down once again.
Yeah, exactly. But still a lot of poking and prodding. Both teams playing towards different sides of the map right now. I think Team Phantasma doing a pretty decent job of just ensuring that they're keeping within touching distance in terms of the gold. I think the Herald use is pretty good. And even though Jinjo was able to procure a lot of gold off the cross map for himself, for now isn't actually going to be felt until probably the next dragon fight. And definitely interesting to see. It looks like we're going to be getting the Leandri's build with this Muramana. It's definitely a build that's risen to priority and popularity recently. It's a very odd build. I can't remember what ends up going on after the Muramana and the Leandri's Torment. I think I've seen people do weird things like Collector. I think it's just basically utility items. Whatever you need after those two items, MF is able to provide a wide array of things as Team Phantasma trying to provide a wide array of pain potentially to Jinjo, who is just collecting this wave underneath the tower. He overstepped. Definitely would have been caught out. Still no flash. Seems like a lot of discipline to ensure that just won't overstep in the middle of that lane.
I'm excited to see what Miss Fortune is going to bring out this game. I'll give it up, because the amount of damage that you can put through from the E and the ultimate as well, lest we forget, is absolutely absurd with this new build. And Sanity might be living up to that name as he dives away from yet more damage. Members of GamerLegion moving in towards this bot side, but won't be able to take down that tower. Of course, plates have now fallen off, meaning that these objectives are a little bit easier to remove. Of course, Phantasma secured themselves the first one already, and at the 15-minute mark, the gold lead has snuck back towards GamerLegion, but ESCIK is running directly towards Peppe and needs to be careful lest he go down.
Yeah, well, should just look for a reset after this. Pick up his first item. Looks like Peppe will be going towards the Everfrost, and I think that is the Leandri's. That will be picked up by ESCIK, and it is. So no Everfrost, no Ludens coming out of LeBlanc. Definitely an interesting choice of item there, but I think still going to get the job done as Teleport comes in behind the bottom lane of GamerLegion here.
Oh, and Visdom in a lot of trouble. There's the damage coming on through, though, as Bako, he teleported in, but might be to his death as they're going to flash into the alcove to secure themselves a kill. The Jayce is low, but not out. Visdom, though, might be going the way of the Fountain. Has to get Golden to dodge away from Sanity's ultimate, but Nikolex chows down for the kill. 2 for Team Phantasma, who can look to push towards this tower.
Yeah, I mean, well played for the GamerLegion bottom lane to almost turn that teleport around onto Bako, but unfortunately wasn't able to find lethal, and Bako just turns it around, almost one-shots the Miss Fortune as ESCIK going to try and delay this tower falling, but I think it's all but gone, but they will trade this kill.
Nikolex goes low, has to get away, but the Cataclysm is going to catch on to 2. Goes up in the air, Vaynedeta looking to potentially for a little bit more damage. Dankers low, ESCIK moving forward, trying to find Sanity, gets the chain. Will the root come through? Yes, it will, and there's the kill with the flag and the mage. It's LeBlanc securing that one as Peppe moves in to make sure Vaynedeta has a clear way out.
Yeah, and curiously, Sacre on the top side, whilst all of this is going on, doesn't have to teleport, decides not to go for the tower. I'm going to reset instead for the Stride Breaker, and I imagine just move down towards this dragon now. GamerLegion going to stay out on the map after this play, mid-jungle. As Bako uses the spellbook to base, get his item, and picks up the teleport. I love it from the spellbook. It's genius. He's back. Now all of a sudden it's like he never left. And be able to set up some vision here. Priority should be gained by the MF and the Renata.
Ooh, ESCIK on the side, looking towards the Nikolex, gets the root, has support from Tanker as well, so they could be looking just for a full engage. Nice knockup coming off through as well, but the LeBlanc has been rooted up, caught in place. The damage is huge, but the Miss Fortune burning through the rest of Team Phantasma. No one's fallen just yet, though, as Peppe looking for an execute, won't be able to find it. Sacre goes big and is a very angry large man as they're going to get the re-engage coming on through. Visdom has to dash away, but can they get the damage? Sanity is the first to fall. but GamerLegion just move back towards the dragon. They've got health bars that aren't super full, but Team Phantasma are in the same place. What can happen here? GamerLegion really want to grab themselves this third dragon. Teleport is coming on through, this time from someone who actually took teleport in Champ Select, as ESCIK back in the map, looking for some damage, throwing poke to and fro as this dragon goes low. 2,500 gonna actually reset as Team Phantasma might have been given a little bit of respite, trying to push forward, getting more poke down, but eventually they're just gonna let it go. Third dragon goes away of GamerLegion as the fight goes the same way.
Yeah, the fight does go the same way. Really well played on the initial pick. ESCIK kind of oversteps a little bit, almost goes down. The bailout I don't think actually came into effect, but I think would have probably helped out in the end. I think Sanity just oversteps, trying to get the turnaround. Team Phantasma, you understand, when they get the charm, they get the turn. It's a key member like that. I'm gonna try and get that turnaround kill, but unfortunately for themselves, they're just not able to find lethal onto anybody. And GamerLegion kind of get away with it scot-free. And now they are one dragon away from Ocean Soul. I think right now can pretty much sit comfortably where they are, as we'll get a replay of ESCIK going in, locks up Nikolex. The first chain, second chain comes in, and then the full-on commit. And you can see on the bottom side, Ahri comes in, gets the charm on the rooted LeBlanc, but unfortunately just isn't able to have any more damage followed up. This bullet time separates and disperses Team Phantasma from actually moving forward. And at this point, unfortunately, Sanity just ends up getting walloped. Goes a little bit too far forward. You can see through this choke, it's just so difficult to approach. The turnaround comes in. Not much you can do about that. So much CC just gets chucked into that tight tunnel.
Peppe doing some damage into GamerLegion, helping Nikolex secure that Rift Herald second of the map, because of course it's after that 15-minute mark. We're not going to be getting any plates, but will be used as a battering ram. You've got to imagine maybe to break open this mid lane tower, because taking that one down would help the Greek side open up the map. And that would be a step in the right direction for a team that, while about 1,000 behind at this stage of the game, definitely still fighting like they're on parity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when you take a look at the items, there's not too much a difference between the completions right now. You know, it's only really Jinjo who's got an IM advantage over Vaynedeta, who could actually be pretty close to finishing up the Mirror Runner. I think that's 1,400 combined cost from those components, so not too far away. Actually, observers, if I could ask maybe for a swap over to gold. I want to see how close the Xayah is. I'm not sure if I can ask. There you go. So next wave, we'll have that Mirror Mana, and then they will be at IM parry. But I feel like GamerLegion at the moment, game state feels like theirs, map control is theirs. Could get turned around.
Through, a lot of damage coming on through from both ultimates. Jinjo picks up Sanity again as Danga uses the Cataclysm, can't find a way out, but keeps Bako in place for a couple of seconds longer. On the other side, though, ESCIK needs to be careful. Diving away from the Ahri, tries to dodge, dip, weave, but has to go over the wall eventually. Last auto, Peppe gonna follow through. Can he find the kill? Yes, he can. The shutdown for the Ahri. On the other side, Visdom and Sacre running to the win. Jinjo on the side might try and look to put a bit of damage down. Sacre can't find the ultimate onto anyone of Phantasma. This could be the opportunity, but they can't find the re-engage. They're looking just to press forward into the mid lane and maybe take down this tower, but GamerLegion, you can see some cracks forming, and Team Phantasma all too happy to capitalize.
Yeah, all too happy to capitalize indeed. GamerLegion getting a little bit sloppy here. Visdom could get run down.
He's actually going to be able to get away with the heal coming out of Jinjo, but they will be able to get this mid lane tower. Members of GamerLegion want to try and stop this Rift Herald from getting a second charge, and Sacre just going to be able to slap the eye and secure it. But it looks like things looking a little bit better for Team Phantasma in that last fight. And Sacre needs to be careful. He can't overextend too far. Yeah, he's getting angry, but not angry enough. But another play. This game is so back and forth, and honestly, I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, so am I. I mean, I think Xayah at the moment should maybe be a little bit too overeager to try and force the issue. Team Phantasma, they're not really out of it. Yeah, like we were kind of saying before that play kicked off, the IM differential isn't really massive right now, as bullet time is just gonna shred through Peppe. No Spirit Rush available, and that is the power of that build.
Buds through, literally, with the Leandries that is able just to secure an easy one-on-one. ESCIK on the top side may also be able to take down a tower just to show GamerLegion, hey, we might not have the best fight last time around, but we're going to be taking these objectives. We're keeping ourselves in a very dominant position. Team Phantasma, what's the response going to be? Because they have to decide in the next minute.
Yeah, they do have to decide in the next minute. I think the issue is 5v5. It just feels so difficult to approach. The range of engage isn't really there. They kind of have a bit of a mix of a poke and a pick composition. It's only really Nautilus that's giving them true hard engage, and GamerLegion, they have definitely had a tendency so far in this game to overstep, so maybe that's what Team Phantasma can prey on and hope for a little bit. So they can find that.
Nikolex rooted up, knocked up. The damage is there, but Trundle's still alive. Dagger thrown through, watch the Renata ultimate. There's a berserk Trundle in the midst of the team fight as he's going to be forced to back away. Sacre moving forward, trying to find Bako, but gets knocked back by the hammer as GamerLegion skipping towards another set of fighting. As Team Phantasma just going to take refuge under their mid lane tower. Of course, GamerLegion do not have one to back off to in the same area. Sacre moving forward towards Vaynedeta, gets some damage down. Nice from the Gnar, forcing the ultimate out. No root coming in as it goes over the wall, gets one himself. The ultimate burns through the Nautilus as Jinjo skips back down river. We said the fight would be around this next dragon. It looks like for now, GamerLegion have the advantage. They control the entrances to the pit, and they're going to start it up.
Yeah, they are going to start this up. ESCIK!
Oh, that's beautiful. Picks up another pick. And do you know what? That all but confirms it. Soul goes the way of GamerLegion.
It felt like it was confirmed anyway, but ESCIK just make sure that it's going to be in writing as well. Picks up that kill onto Bako. And I mean, Jinjo on this Miss Fortune is just being so impressive with the make it range. The bullet times as well to finish off kills. It just feels like Team Phantasma have no real way of reaching this Miss Fortune right now, whilst the rest of the team just causes havoc, regardless of where they are. Visdom with these ultimates as well across two walls, which makes it so impressive for Team Phantasma to play the game, even when they're, in reality, kind of spread out quite far from one another. Still doesn't matter, Berserk comes in. Have Vaynedeta hitting Peppe in the back line, not able to actually return any damage over a wall. That just means that GamerLegion are able to win out on these team fights handily, and now with that soul, it's just going to exacerbate this issue as you get the replay here. It's all about the chains that come in onto Nikolex, and he gets so chunked out. The subjugate actually heals him up quite substantially, buys a lot of time here, but still is going to drop eventually. But it's Danka that goes down. Drops, you can see as well on the bottom side. Sacre gets knocked back by the hammer. I think it's actually buffered into a flash. Yeah, really nice stuff there from Bako. You can see Make It Rain's constantly just being so oppressive, but again, it's Sacre with a hop into the Stride Breaker, which forces this Feather Storm. GamerLegion have to go into a bit of a retreat. I can see there's just no real true lockdown, and once the lockdown does actually come in on the opposite side for GamerLegion, they're able to pick up Sanity with pretty much relative ease, and at this numbers advantage, they probably would have picked this up anyway. Again, another oppressive Make It Rain forces Bako and the rest of Team Phantasma into a very awkward position where they have to poke and prod slowly, but in that slow approach, ESCIK fangs bared, takes down Bako, and ensures that that soul is theirs.
Now GamerLegion looking to just assert their dominance a little bit more, but Danka probably not the one to be doing that with Baron on the cards. Has to dive away, loses half his health, and GamerLegion, while they have control over the river, with a half-health jungler, might be feeling a little bit worse when Nikolex moving forward, looking towards Visdom, the re-engage coming on through, but there's the bullet time. Jinjo knocked into the air. The Renata ultimate will land, but it's not going to do too much. Sacre on the wide, gets the wall for Nikolex. Bako gonna be caught out on the side. No idea what that flank was, but now it's a case of GamerLegion moving forward. Do they have the chase? Do they have the re-engage to try and find Vaynedeta? No, they don't, but they're going to move towards the Baron.
And the thing is, they've lost one of their core poke members. They've got an Ocean Soul on the opposite side for GamerLegion. They can just play this Baron game and this dance so easily. Team Phantasma, they're going to have to find a pick, and they're going to have to hope that they can remove somebody quickly, otherwise it's a numbers disadvantage. They're looking for it.
Another fight's coming on through. Nikolex on the side needs to be careful. The charm doesn't land. Sanity goes low and is deleted. Danka gets the ultimate down on and two. The Trundle is looking for support, but no one's following through. But dives across the fight towards Vaynedeta, goes up in the air, back down with the root, but needs to be careful. Is burning and running for his life. But it looks like Sacre has got on top of him. It's a kill for Jinjo once again as Peppe running for the hills, flashes into the red buff pit as Nikolex will take a blast cone out. Team Phantasma lose two members, but they might also lose Baron.
Oh, they're definitely going to lose Baron. I don't think Peppe, Nikolex, and Bako can really do too much about this. They do have a lot of damage between the Jayce. The Jayce is on spike. Peppe is almost at a death cap, but I just feel like this Baron is going to burn down too quickly. And if they do try and interrupt it, they'll just get turned on and probably die. See what they do. Sacre is also building up the Mega Gnar, and ESCIK is trying to play bodyguard at this choke here. I think it's just too dangerous.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything as members of GamerLegion peel off to try and get the fight going. Sacre goes to half health, though. It will be secured by Jinjo and Danka. Sacre actually moving forward, getting the ultimate into the wall, finds Nikolex. He's going to be able to get the subjugate down, but it doesn't matter as LeBlanc secures the kill. Bako trying to force some poke, but will just be forced back towards the wolves as Tanker helps cut him off with the flag and drag to knock up the damage. I don't know if Jayce gets away from this one. The root will secure it as Renata throws the ultimate down. There's an angry Ahri in the midst, but she's going to dive away. The ultimate from Miss Fortune will just clip as LeBlanc seals their fate. It's another double for the mid laner as GamerLegion have Baron looking to continue the fight. They might just look to press into the base.
They might press into the base. They might even think about the game. 30 seconds on both the solo laners, 10 seconds on a Trundle, which you don't really care about. I think the safer option, just play for this inhibitor. I think they'll do quite comfortably. Sacre also even has a wave on the top side. They might retreat up towards the top side after this mid lane as well. 15 seconds worth of time, 90 seconds until the Elder Dragon. Plenty of options. I think inhib into reset. You're pretty comfortable with this one. GamerLegion have just been out team fighting Team Phantasma for the last, what feels like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Team Phantasma aren't able to touch jinjo, aren't able to lock down ESCIK. And Danka on this Jarvan is providing so much annoyance and backline threat, but not even in the traditional sense of trying to actually murder somebody, but just locking them down, locking them up, and then having the rest of his team follow up on it. In this instance, after the Baron, they're just able to find the turnaround. Sacre, you feel maybe overreaches a little bit, gets chunked out so heavily, half his HP, but able to pick up Nikolex, and the issue is, Bako, Peppe, they tried to go back around to try and help their jungler, but you can see Bako a little bit too thirsty to try and find a little more poke damage. Sacre's leap crush rather, unfortunately doesn't make it over the wall, but it doesn't matter. They're able to find more kills. Bako goes down to the chains. Renata makes that Ahri very angry, like you say. They just have to run for the hills, and this bullet time just about gets on to the Ahri. Kill credit goes over to ESCIK.
And now for GamerLegion, it's all about how they can close out this game. Maybe looking towards Sanity, but the slow down will be followed through by Danka. Visdom is there as well, but in the meantime, Nikolex might be the target, caught by the Gnar once again as the teleport's coming into the base. Keep your eyes on that one, but the Gnar goes low, will be taken up in the air and deleted, but so much damage coming in from Jinjo. The Cataclysm keeps them in place as they make it rain, make it pour, as GamerLegion take down more. Triple kill coming through from Jinjo, and that should be the game. The Prime League representatives announce themselves into Group B. We're gonna see K-Golf later, we're gonna see X7 later, but we've already seen a GamerLegion victory.
We have indeed seen a victory, and a very clean one once it came to the team fights. Here for the German side, Team Phantasma just were not able to stand up to the power of ESCIK's LeBlanc and Jinjo's Miss Fortune. And Danka, honestly, after a pretty shaky early game, if you ask me, a couple of questionable decisions, brings so much back to the team fights later on. So many clean flag and drags, so many strong cataclysms which force multiple flashes for the rest of the teams to capitalize on. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the Prime representatives.
I mean, everyone on their team was doing their job absolutely fantastically. We didn't talk that much about the Renata throughout the game because it was a little bit quiet in the early stages. And by the time we got to team fights, oh, look, there's a big flashy Miss Fortune ultimate coming on through. And Danka was doing heroics. But there were so many massive ultimates from everyone on this lineup. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to jump to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be looking towards, well, looking back at that game and then looking towards our third game of the day. We've got ESCIK, we've got Fnatic TQ. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.